Hello everyone. My name is Mary McNally. I'm the town manager here in East Longmeadow as of last December 19th. So it's been a year, just about, and want to take you through the town hall today to give you an opportunity to see how hard your departments and your staff are working on your behalf, even though COVID is very prevalent in our community at the moment. So come on inside and we'll take a walk through to the various departments. We're going to start with the health department, if that's all right. They share space in the town manager's suite with HR. The HR department will be visited on another day. So here we have Amy Petrosky, who's our health department director, and I'd like to yield the floor to Amy to introduce the members of her department and what they do for the town of East Longmeadow.
All right, thanks, Mary. Yes, I'm Amy. I'm the health director for the town of East Longmeadow, and I personally think we have the best team in all of Town Hall, so I'm really excited to be able to introduce you to them. Alex Shipman is our administrative assistant. Alex is the person when you call the health department who you receive most frequently. She is going to tell you a little bit about the calls we've been receiving since Town Hall has been closed since March.
Hi, my name's Alex Shipman. I'm the admin for the health department. I'm the first line of defense when it comes to the phone, so I answer the calls. Right now they're mostly about COVID as well as trash and regular calls about sharp collection, really anything, and then I'm the one that distributes the calls to everybody else.
Next is Donna Bowman. She's the health inspector for the town, and she has been my right-hand man through this all the time, really, but especially during the COVID crisis that we're all enduring right now.
I'm Donna Bowman, health inspector here in town. Busy times. We've been out following up on many complaints regarding these things here and COVID-related items. Also doing regular inspections and what we normally do on a daily basis. So we've been very busy and going at it. We're here. We answer all our calls within 24 hours. We do our best to get back to everybody and keep the correspondence going.
Liz Bone is our recycling coordinator in town. She works with our trash hauler. She does all the recycling initiatives that we've seen be such a success in our community, like the compost bins, the rain barrels, and she'll tell you about the rest.
Hi, I'm Liz Bone. I'm the recycling coordinator for the town. I work with the trash company, so if you have any trash complaints or any recycling questions, I'm always available to take calls. Just leave a message on my voicemail and I will give you a call back within 24 hours. I also apply for grants that help our community fund those type of initiatives for recycling.
Last but not least is Paul Morrissey. He is one of 2 animal control officers that the town has, and he's going to tell you about his role as an animal control officer.
Hi, I'm Paul Morrissey. I'm one of the town's animal control officers. We can always be reached through the police department if you call their non-emergency line any time of the day, and you'll get either me or Melissa. We're just here to keep the town's animals safe and humans safe from diseases.
I just have 2 other comments about health. Amy, in her humble way, failed to mention that she was a recipient of the 2020 Mass Health Association Officers Spotlight Award for her dedication and energy and enthusiasm for all things health related. We're very proud of her. And Liz mentioned the grants that she applies for. And we just received notice yesterday that we received an additional $17,600 grant for recycling expenses pursuant to credits that were earned for recycling initiatives in the last fiscal year. So they do great work and we're proud of all of their contributions. I listen to Alex all day because I can hear her from my office, and she's great with the public and the information she provides. And Donna, who can beat Donna? And I just met Paul myself, but thank you very much. I've had a lot to do with the animal control officers so far, so they do a great job, all of them. just wanted to introduce you in the town to Jennifer Kerr, who's the administrative assistant to the town manager. She does a great job answering all citizen telephone calls and taking care of the department heads as they come in with their different requests and so forth. So busy, full-time position there and does a good job. This is our finance office, our new director, Steve Lonergan. This, in my view, is really the hub of it's the heartbeat of the town. This is where all bills get paid from, it's all expenses are evaluated, the budget is made, high-level financial decisions are made by Mr. Lonergan with some help from me on occasion. I don't know where we'd be without the staff here. It's a key department in town. Not to denigrate anyone else's departmental contributions, but this is the crux of the community's operations. So with that, I want to introduce Steve. He's new to us July 6th of this year. More than happy to have him, and then I'll let him introduce the staff.
Hi everyone, as Mary said, I'm Steve Lonergan. I started here about on July 6th. I'm thrilled to be here, and I've learned a lot. I'd like to introduce my staff. This is Olga Bones and Terry Smith. They handle everything from payroll up through payables and make me look really smart. I couldn't do anything without them, and I look forward to working with them for a very long time.
Well, I've been working for the town for 20 years. It's been a long 20 years. I like working here. It's a lot of work, but I enjoy it. Mary, she's a good town manager, and my new boss here is a good boss too, so hi.
Terry's shy, but she's our payroll administrator and does a great job with that. And I really have to give Olga some extra credit. This particular department has really had a tough year between COVID and furloughs and short staff and vacant positions. Olga stepped up for a period of almost 10 weeks and acted as the department head. And honestly, I don't know that the town could have survived without her contribution. So she deserves, if anybody in the audience can sit on their sofa and applaud, this would be the time to do it. So thank you, Olga. You're terrific.
I'd like to add, when I took this position and came in, Olga welcomed me and sat down and walked me through how things are done in East Longmeadow, and has been a valuable employee for me, and helps me get through the day, frankly, as well as Terry does too. And but Olga is on the day-to-day stuff. She's always there, and anybody that's ever dealt with Olga knows how friendly and good she is.
Here we are in our assessor's office with Diane Bishop and Carrie Wenzel. Unfortunately, they're the only two people who are employed in the assessor's office for the time being. And they're struggling through doing yeoman's work to get all the assessing tasks done, as well as take care of the annual fiscal recap of all things financial. So I'll leave that to Diane if she cares to address it. But with that said, Diane?
First, we want to welcome you to our office, and just so you know, we are looking so forward to having everyone come back into the office so we can deal with you in person. But until then, we are working very hard to assist all of our residents through phone, email, and on occasion, we will meet you outside and by appointment, and we'll be able to assist you. I don't know if people are aware, we're here 8 to 4, Monday through Friday. If you call our line and you get our voicemail, it's because we're helping someone else at the moment, but we'll be happy to return your call as soon as possible. We encourage people to look at our town website. Our town website has a lot of valuable information, not only the main web page, and that is eastlongmeadowma.gov, but also the assessor's webpage that has a lot of forms, applications, and additional information. So We do look forward to helping you. Please feel free to call us, and whatever we can do to assist you, we'll be happy to. Stay well.
Okay, so here we are in our very cozy planning department with Bethany Yao and Rebecca Jones, the admin for planning, who started just yesterday. Bethany was appointed as the interim director of planning and community development in April or May of this year, and has really done a spectacular job in the few short months. She's applied for and acquired many grants, has attended to all the business of planning, and been very instrumental in the town's final achievement of our open space plan being accepted by the Commonwealth. So with that, I just want to introduce you to her. Very proud of what she's done so far, and hopefully we'll have her with us for a long time to come, and then she can introduce Rebecca and talk a little bit about what's going on here in planning.
All right, so welcome to the Planning Department. We help staff the Zoning Board of Appeals, the Planning Board, and the Conservation Commission. So if you ever have an application go before any of those three boards, you'll most likely talk to myself or Rebecca along the way. We try to make it as painless as a process as possible with the help of our IT staff, with Zoom meetings, and with constant communication with our other departments. This is Rebecca Jones. This is our new administrative assistant. You want to talk a little bit about your background and what you're bringing to East Longmeadow?
I've been a certified paralegal since 2016. I've worked for several local law firms, and most recently I worked for the City of Westfield Law Department as their legal secretary and paralegal. And I'm very excited to join the planning department here and work with Bethany closely in all the areas of planning.
I wanted to point out the confines within which these two young ladies are working. This room is about 8 by 10. Rebecca actually has a spot out in sort of what's considered the DPW area, but it's a cubicle set aside. And the town's residents should be advised of the constraints that these people work under, because this is cramped. And they're smiling and they get along and everybody does the best that they can, but someday it would be nice to be able to spread out a little and have a little more workspace, because they think big thoughts and I don't want them to get stuck in this little room. But they do a great job under sometimes some adverse circumstances, so just wanted to make that point. So here we have our esteemed DPW Director, Bruce Fenney. Bruce obviously is the superintendent of all things related to public works. In my opinion, he does a great job, only made better by his constant enthusiasm and willingness to take on any project of any scope at any time, day or night, Monday through Sunday. So very pleased with everything that Bruce has done, trying to find alternate sources for capital projects. He's becoming the grant meister of the town of East Longmeadow. So we're very pleased with all the initiatives that he's undertaken, and I'm just going to ask him to say a couple of words and then maybe introduce his staff who are just outside the corridor here.
Thank you for doing this interview. Obviously, under these circumstances, department and obviously other departments had to kind of come into a new way of doing things, especially here in the Department of Public Works. We're very busy at all times. The initial response with COVID and shutting down town hall and everything else, we've learned to navigate our new way of doing things, and some of that is by doing online things, meeting people out in the parking lot. We've made strides in helping out residents getting their dump stickers and other services that are required for the Department of Public Works. This includes water and sewer inspections, site plan development, and going out and checking on all the developments in town. So things are going fairly well. We haven't slowed down a bit at all. It's just like I said, it's a little quieter here at Town Hall, but everything seems to be going well. So we have right here is Felix Vachon. He is our water and sewer administrator. He has one of the toughest jobs, I think, in the department when it comes to water quality and everything related to water. Over the past probably year, our exceedances in HAA 5s has been quite challenging, but we're working through it. So Felix is one of our managers here at the DPW. So we do have other two managers that are not present at this time. We have Tom Christensen, who is our deputy superintendent, and we have Joseph Dunn, our facilities manager. We have here Robert Tadia. He's our operation administrator. He kind of oversees everything in our office here. So out here we have kind of our nuts and bolts of our operations here, who fields all our calls and everything else within the department, and also does all the billing and everything related to the Department of Public Works. We have Susan Abad, we have Judy Prachetta in the corner, and we have Karen Meter.
So here we are in the library. Layla Johnston's the director, and she'll be happy to introduce the staff to you and describe some of the ongoing projects that the library's been accomplishing. During the closure of the public buildings, they've done a phenomenal service to the public with their curbside pickup, and all these bags you can see are from quarantining materials as they're returned to the library. And I'll let Layla expound upon the various details of the projects. Some of the virtual reading programs have really been spectacular. One thing I do want to point out on the physical plant, if you can pan the carpet throughout this area, which is the circulation area, in the back room there, the children's library, all of this carpeting is courtesy of the Friends of the Library. Recarpeting the library has been on the capital plan for 5 years or so at a cost of in excess of 6 figures. We approached the Friends and asked them if they would consider making a donation, which they happily did after some consideration. And we moved to carpet squares versus broadloom, saved the town over $80,000 and had the project done in a matter of 48 hours. So many thanks to the Friends of the Library. The carpeting's lovely, it's very comfortable to walk on, and so it provides a nice environment and one that was necessarily upgraded this past year.
Well, thank you very much, Mary, for that very warm and friendly welcome. I'm Layla Johnston, I'm the library director, and I'm happy to take everyone today through a little update of the various ways that we're able to continue to meet the needs of East Longmeadow residents during the time that the building is closed. So we're happy to provide curbside pickup services outside the Walgreens facing entrance. We're also thrilled to be offering virtual reading programs for children, teens, and adults. We also have digital books and magazines that are available online 24 hours, 7 days a week at eastlongmeadowlibrary.org. You can look for the Overdrive button on our website. So first, let's take you around and introduce you to a little bit of the staff, who will be happy to walk you through the children's programs that we have, the teen and adult programs that we have, and a little bit more in detail about curbside pickup and quarantine. So this is everyone's favorite children's librarian, Michelle Lemire, and she's going to tell you more about our virtual programs for children. Take it away, Michelle.
Hi everyone, hope everyone's doing great. So the Children's Department is offering a lot of great virtual programs as well as grab and go programs. We are offering 2 great Facebook programs, a virtual program, Storytime with Miss Kay, and then a PJ Night with Miss Darcy. Those are on Facebook on Mondays and Wednesdays. We also have a lot of great programs for kids to get books in hands. We have a program for kids that are in kindergarten to 2nd grade where you can just register and get some books for readers. We also are offering grab and go bags for 3rd grade to 8th graders where you just fill out a form and we can pull the books for you. You can get those books into your hands and start reading some terrific books. This year we're also doing a whole bunch of great Create It kits and Explore It kits. They're art projects as well as STEAM projects that you can get. Every single week we're offering wonderful programs, and it looks like everyone is enjoying doing them. We have great success with those. In November this month, we're kicking off our annual Giving Tree program. That's a really great program to help support New Beginnings in Holyoke, Mass. There are 100 kids this year that we're supporting in our Giving Tree. All of that information will come out at the end of November. You're going to be registering this week online, as well as registering what kids and ages you want to buy gifts for. And then in December, we'll be bringing those over to the shelter, and it'll be a wonderful experience for them, as well as great support for us to go forward with. We'll continue to offer all of these great programs through the winter. We look forward to continue to do all of our great programs. Thanks. Have a good holiday.
Here's another very creative solution that the library staff have come up with in order to facilitate browsing of new books while the building is closed. We have what's called a sidewalk stroll. So we're featuring new books that come in for children, teens, and adults. You can do some window shopping on our sidewalk stroll, signal a library staff member, or call the library at 413-525-5400, extension 1511, and we will be happy to select those books for you, check them out to you, and put them out in curbside pickup. So if we want to just take a little stroll along the windows here, you can see we have our early readers. We have children's DVDs. A little bit farther down here, we have middle grade fiction. We have some more picture books here. We have the phone number here as well. You can also call the children's department directly at 525-5400-1515, and they will be more than happy to help you select books from the sidewalk stroll or from the collection if you need assistance. We have playaways. These are audiobooks that all you need to plug in as a set of earbuds, and that book is ready to be listened to you by your young reader. And then down here we have new young adult books, DVDs, new large print, new nonfiction, and then last but not least, new fiction. So we're hoping this helps provide a little bit of a way to select those new materials while also staying as safe and healthy as possible during the COVID-19 pandemic. Over here we have the outside version of our curbside pickup area. We have Make It Take It crafts for library patrons of all ages. And you can see here, story times to go, Make It Take It crafts, as well as the 4th grade book selection for their book club. This is the curbside pickup area. We also have a newsletter out to keep you up to date with all of our virtual programs and activities. If you do place holds and decide to check items out using curbside pickup, you can see that it'll be bagged for you in a paper bag and labeled by the first 4 letters of your last name, the last 4 digits of your phone number, and your date and time for contact-free pickup. Our book return is always open, and in part of keeping everyone safe and healthy during the COVID-19 pandemic, we are quarantining all library materials for a minimum of 4 days. So you can see our cart here. The book return is always open. We're always able to accept returns. And then once it hits that check-in date, it will be then checked back in, removed from your account, and shelved. We can show you the quarantine area, which is in the library community room. And so you can see that we have carts here of books that are in quarantine that will then be checked back in once they hit that date. And we also have our bins of all of our books and DVDs and other materials that we get through CW Mars, through our library consortia. Just trying to keep everyone safe and healthy as we can, and also still make sure they're able to borrow those books and DVDs that we know everybody needs right now.
Hi, I'm Maura Mara, the Adult Services Librarian here at the East Longmeadow Public Library. Wanted to let patrons know that they can always contact us here at the library if they have any questions on how to download ebooks, or if they have any reference questions, where Sharon and I are up here and we can answer any questions for you. We're also doing grab-and-go bundles for patrons that may not know what they want to read but have an idea. They want to read something new. If you just fill out a form that you can get off our website, let us know some books that you've liked in the past, and we'll go grab some books for you and put it out on the table for the curbside pickup. We also have virtual programs. We're taking programs that we've done in the library and trying to do some virtually so patrons can enjoy them in their homes. We have crafts for both teens and adults, so if you have a craft that you want to do, let us know. Anything else that you want to ask us here, just give us a call and we'll be happy to help.
This is the library's last but not least most important area, and that is our technical services area. This is where our library cataloger works hard putting on those barcodes that we use to check items out. We put special covers and cases on our books and DVDs so that we can obtain as much value as possible out of each item that we lend. And Kristen is our cataloger. She is behind the scenes working as hard as ever to make sure that we can get you those new release books and DVDs as soon as they're processed.
Hi, I'm Erica Petrosky, the circulation supervisor. So this is the back room, and this is where we keep real busy for everyone in town. We handled over 6,000 items last month alone in curbside pickup. So most of you are familiar with how it works, but the phone is ringing, we're staying busy, and we're happy to serve the public in the way we have. And most of you have seen these cute little bags that you pick up on curbside. And so call us, go through the online system. We're happy to pick out items for you at any time.
Thank you, Jamie and LCAT, for providing us the opportunity today to highlight for all of the East Longmeadow residents the ways that we are trying to serve you as best we can during the building closure. Curbside pickup, digital books and magazines. We also have virtual programs for everyone, and we're very, very happy that LCAT could come through today, help give everybody a behind the scenes. If you need further information, please check our website at eastlongmeadowlibrary.org. We update our website frequently with virtual programs, digital books and magazines, as well as instructions for curbside pickup. Thank you so much.
Good morning, Don, Jamie. Welcome to our HR department. This is the resumption of our town hall video walkthrough. I wanted to introduce Elaine Grimaldi, who's been acting as our HR director for about a year now, maybe 13 months, and she's been an absolute savior to me. What with COVID and all of the concomitant problems with leave and issues that brought to our staff, Elaine's been wonderful, dealing in a very, very particular way with all the specifics and the complications of this aspect of the COVID problem. So delighted to have her, and I'll let her take it from here to introduce her staff and maybe give a brief explanation of what they do and how you go about our town's HR business.
Well, to begin with, thank you, and welcome to the Human Resources Department. The department is comprised of 3 full-time employees. As a team, the 3 of us, for the most part, handle a wide range of duties and responsibilities assigned to the Human Resources Department. We diligently work, for the most part, again, behind the scenes in an effort to support all of the town departments within East Longmeadow. So I'm going to describe to you briefly what I feel are some of the essential functions that we handle within our department, and hopefully this will give you a little bit of insight into what we are looking to accomplish on a daily basis. There are 6 main functions that I would use, and the first one, of course, is recruitment. Then we have training and development, benefits administration, handling compensation, employee-employer relations, and lastly, legal responsibilities, and that encompasses the policies and procedures as well as the interpretation of employment laws in the state of Massachusetts and the federal government. So at this point in time, what I'd like to do is introduce you to Corinne Trangisi, our benefits administrator, and have her mention a few words to you as to what she does for the town of East Longmeadow. Thank you.
Hello, I spend most of my days administering the health insurance and dental and life insurance for the active employees and retirees of the town. Currently, we're working on open enrollment for the Medicare plans, and that's keeping me very busy.
And then Mariola Rivera, who is the Human Resources Generalist.
Hi, I assist with the daily functions of the HR department, including recruitment, unemployment, family medical leave, and workers' comp.
So we hope this has provided you with a little glimpse of what we do on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis within the Human Resources Department for the town of East Longmeadow. Thank you.
I just wanted to give a special acknowledgement to some of the special projects that Corinne worked on this year that had to do with payroll deductions for disability insurance, as well as some retirement contribution issues that required an enormous amount of attention to detail that she was able to provide and assist the finance office with getting these things straightened out. Sometimes these problems come up and the day-to-day business is extremely busy around here, and the contributions of people like Corinne and Mariola are really special, because for about a year and a half the town had no HR department. And so the absence of that causes great difficulty, and now we're still trying to dig out of that deficit. But with these three ladies, we've made great strides, and I want to praise all of them and thank them very much on behalf of the community. They've made a huge difference.
Thank you,
Thank you, Mary.
Well, here we are in the town clerk's office, recently relocated to its original spot in the town hall building. That was actually 6 or 7 months ago. It feels like yesterday. The town clerk, as of 1 year ago, last month, is Jeannie Quigletti, who's doing a terrific job as the town clerk. They've had a rough year with all the elections and the hard work that went into all of the processing of mail-in ballots and absentee ballots and voter registrations and on and on and on. But I'll let Jeannie give the detail of that and the kudos to her staff, which I'm sure she's very anxious to do.
Hi, I'm Jeannie Quagletti, the town clerk, and this is my office here. This was actually the original location of the treasurer, collector, clerk's office since way back when. It's an old building. I don't know if you can zoom around. We've got behind Mary, there's a fireplace that was working at one point, and my staff is right here with me. This is Melissa over here, Melissa Goodrow. Then we have Mary O'Connor here, and my assistant Jackie Sullivan. And I'll walk you over through, if I can do that, to show you the rest of the office. So you probably don't notice, but we all have two computers, and our second computer is a state computer, and it actually has its own router in the basement that belongs to the state of Massachusetts. And every town city clerk, 351 in Massachusetts, has the same system. It's called VRIS, Voter Registration Information System, I believe it is. And it's all tied into the voter registration status, runs the street list, and the census forms are all connected to that. And if anybody tracked their ballot, we have all that same system. The Track My Ballot website is all in the same system, so we're all tied in together. So So this is our vault. We share it with the Treasurer Collector's Office, and it has vital records, which are birth, marriage, and death records way back to 1894. We also have records for town meetings and minutes from meetings and Board of Selectmen way back to 1894. We also have our ballots in there. So from Tuesday's election, we have 10,000 ballots. They've been locked up at the polling location, escorted back here by the police officers, and put in this vault. And after they are stored for a month, we can rebox them, put them in the basement, and they have to stay there for 22 months, and that's state regulations. We processed 80% of the voters on Tuesday. It was a great turnout, and we were able to remove the ballots in advance for this election. We did that with over 6,000 ballots on Saturday, so they were ready to be put in the machine on Tuesday. So it was a very successful day. Had a couple bumps in the road, but we got through it, and we're in post-election fog right now. Still a lot of work to do, but the big day is over, and we can also get back to things that were kind of put aside in our regular business certificates and dog licenses coming up. And I'm also clerk of the council, so we have to prepare for those meetings too, that are at least once a month. So back to our work, and we're getting ready for the next election, which won't be until next June. So we have a little breather. We've been running ragged. We've had 4 elections this year, and since August we've just been flat out getting ready for the September primary, then jumping right into preparation for the November election. So have a little bit breather, and we can clean up our space and get back to the grindstone. So thank you.
I want to particularly thank Jeannie. She's too modest about the contributions and the effort that she and her department have put forth over the last 6 months. I can't tell you how many times I've bumped into Jackie and Mary O'Connor in the parking lot servicing customers, residents who come in for certificates or some request, and obviously the building has been closed since March 16th, so they're the front-facing personnel, and they do things with a smile and get their steps in, so there's a health benefit there, but they're doing it with such a great attitude that speaks volumes about their commitment to serving this community. So I personally really appreciate them, and everybody who lives here should as well. So thanks. So here we are in the building commissioner's office. This is Kevin Duquette. Kevin also serves the town as the zoning enforcement officer. Does a great job. He's got his staff out in the outer office that you'll meet a little bit later. But Kevin does all the inspections for new construction, and you want to say the other various duties that you have in your repertoire?
Yeah, I enforce the state building code, and as Mary said, the zoning bylaws for the town. Any zoning issues or building code questions, contact the building department.
Great. I get a lot of calls. I don't get a lot of calls about building issues, but the few that I do are always very complimentary to Kevin for his professionalism, his expertise, his knowledge of the subject matter with which he deals, and so we're very fortunate to have him in our employ. So thanks, Kevin.
All right, thank you.
The building department maintains the records of building permit applications for the town of East Longmeadow, as well as electrical and plumbing and gas permits. We have 3 inspectors. We have a plumbing, gas inspector, an electrical inspector, and of course Kevin Duquette is our building commissioner. We now have our support staff in Chelsea, our new clerk in the office, and we're happy to have her here. Essentially, this office takes care of all the building permit applications, whether they're residential or commercial, for the town of East Longmeadow, and we provide zoning violations, bylaws, and things like that. So it's basically a service-oriented department.
So here we are in the police chief's office, Chief DeLessio, as I'm sure most of the community would recognize his face, even with a mask on. But I've only worked with Jeff for a little over a year, maybe a year and a quarter. I've grown to really have a great deal of respect for him. His calm demeanor at all times has been very comforting and very helpful with a variety of situations that have occurred in town. The town's in good hands with its public safety department with Jeff at the helm. For those of you who don't know, he will be leaving our service early in 2021. So it's bittersweet that we wish him well, but we certainly wish him well. And I want to thank him for all the good things he's done in the community and his dedication to duty and his attention and his ever-present willingness to cooperate and do what's best for the town of East Longmeadow. So Jeff, if you want to say a few words about your department, your staff, you can take it from here and say whatever you like.
Thanks, Mary, for those kind words. I appreciate it very much. As you know, as she said, I will be leaving in early next year. But until then, business as usual for the police department and the men up here. We have 26 officers. That includes some sergeants, and we continue to deal with issues in the town as it relates to COVID. As you can see, we're all wearing our masks today. But as the COVID continues to affect every community, we continue to make adjustments as necessary, and unfortunately, we're no different than any other community in regards to that. So with that said, I appreciate the town for all the support they gave me over the years in regards to my retirement, and we'll leave it at that. But I'd like to just show you a little bit more what goes on at the police department here as far as what you can expect since we did transition over to a regional dispatch, and it'll affect how you may have some lobby services for the most part. That's really the only thing that we're really concerned about, is making sure that we provide as much as possible the same services you had before we made the change over to a regional dispatch center. For most of you, that will probably mean no change in services, except again when you do come into the lobby. So one of the operations up here to the police department, it's not a uniform position, it's an administrative position. And my assistant that helped me very much in the day-to-day operations up here as far as administratively is Penny Tremblay. She's been here for quite a few years, almost what, 32 years, Penny? So she's been really one of the pillars up in this building, which a lot of people don't know about. But if you happen to have a question about administrative billing or the non-law enforcement side, basically, you probably would reach out to Penny here and make contact with her. So 32 years, which she's approaching a lot of time like me, and we appreciate her service throughout her entire career. But this is the operation administrative part of it anyways, for getting the paperwork, so to speak, done in the police department. Thank you, Penny.
The people like Penny are the unsung heroes in a manner of speaking, because they provide service to all the other employees in the building. Absolutely. And they'd be lost without her. So
absolutely. Yep.
Thanks, my thanks to Penny as well.
Yeah, she's my go-to girl. Anything I need to know, she reminds me where I was. So this part of our building is our old dispatch area. We've moved part of our administrative personnel out here to handle some of the lobby traffic that we have now that we no longer dispatch and greet people at the same time in the police department. So this is another part of an administrative position here that we take care of walk-in business for the police department. This wall here is part of the memorabilia that's been collected over the years of how the town developed in the police department, different members of the department, different tools that we used back in the day for the trade. And it's just a wall that the guys put together to remember where we came from and not forget our past. Now we're in the lobby of the police department, where if you were to come in the door between 8 and 8, again on Monday through Friday, you would run into the lobby here. You would make your case known, so to speak, at the lobby. Someone would greet with you at this point in time and help you out further with any kind of issues you have. But the lobby is open only from those hours. Nothing's really changed since we moved our dispatch over to Westcom. It's still the same same setup basically, so it's just the people behind the window are now different.
The chief was very instrumental in getting that transfer over to Westcom to happen with efficiency. He pointed out all of the operational issues that either were a problem or could potentially be a problem. And the executive director at Westcom has worked hard with her staff to ensure that the public safety response to complaints arising out of East Longmeadow is timely and expeditious. So that's part of Jeff's skill set that we will miss, but that he helped make the transition much smoother than it could have been. So again, praise to him for that.
So what we have here is our med box, drop box for medication, unwanted medication, no longer needed, etc. This is provided through the DA's office. It's a very useful tool, so to speak, for the residents. Again, you can access it during the lobby hours. There's some do's and don'ts, as they say, on the front there that we'd like you to adhere to. Very useful convenience tool for the residents of East Longmeadow. Should we be closed outside the hours that we've talked about already, you'll have this phone access to you to reach out to a dispatcher in Chicopee who will take your complaint immediately, address any of the concerns you have, and steer it towards the proper personnel if applicable. Some issues you might have may not be emergency in nature, may be addressed right away. They could be referred out down the road to business hours for the police department. But this phone is available 24/7 when you come into the lobby. Simple thing is either push the red button, it automatically connects you to the dispatch center for any kind of emergencies or complaints, or you pick up the handset. Either way. Again, we notify you that the hours are right here on the board, and if we are closed, the curtain will be down. So if you see the curtain down, that means the door is going to be locked. It's a feature that we offer 24/7 that we have to provide the service to the residents of town since we no longer do the dispatching behind these doors. There is a feasibility study underway right now with the department to see if there will be an expansion or renovations to the police department. We're a 24/7 operation, as you know, so the building gets used basically 24/7, 365. So it takes a lot more wear and tear than your average building. But this is a plaque that commemorated the original building and the architect and the people that were in town responsible for this building back in 1974.
So here we are in the recreation office with Donna Prather, who's our town's Parks and Recreation Director. Donna manages this department and all the town's sporting activities, works very closely with the school department to manage all kinds of physical activity for students there. She's also in charge, obviously, of the Pine Knoll Day Camp and all the after-hours events. She and Jordy Emanuel, her deputy, put in countless hours trying to make everything seamless, and they've been extraordinarily successful. We think the world of her and her efforts. Can't say enough good things about Donna and Jordy for all the effort they put in to provide recreation in general, but especially throughout this past summer and spring. This COVID impact on the community and on kids' ability to be out and socialize and get some exercise has really been dramatic. I don't think it's overstating it to say it's really been a crisis situation on many occasions. So with that said, I'll yield the floor to Donna, and she can show you the workspace for her staff. This office was recently renovated. It looks great, and there you go.
Thank you, Mary, for the kind words. I definitely do enjoy the staff that I work with and the volunteers that we have, and it's been a very interesting and learning process for us to get through the day camp this summer, managing the pool. And again, I can't say enough about the staff and the volunteers that we have. We are now wrapping up our fall sports, and with field hockey and soccer. We still have a couple other skills and drills type activities that are going on. But Just want to tell everybody too that I'm here quite a bit. Sometimes I'm running up to the camp or whatever, but if you come in and you need me, we have a doorbell outside. You can ring the doorbell and I'll come out and meet you and help you with what you need. Tim, who is our office assistant, is still furloughed 2 days a week. Doc is in part-time, and we have an empty position that we haven't filled that was vacated right when this COVID situation hit. But that being said, we're still here to help you. Jordy works primarily out of Pine Knoll still because we have after school going on. And for upcoming events, we're just thinking lots of things outside, brainstorming among ourselves. And as Mary said, we work closely with the school. We also have a pretty tight connection with the Pioneer Valley, other rec directors and staff, and working with them. And it's good to be here and still be able to have activities in these trying times.
Hi, my name is Jordy Emanuel. I'm the Assistant Recreation Director here in the town of East Longmeadow. We're in November now. We're approaching winter. We had a very awesome summer. We had a very successful Pine Knoll Day Camp, and I just wanted to thank all of the staff, all of the participants, and everybody that came out to support us. We do have a lot of upcoming events starting next month. We do have a Christmas house decorating contest that we have, and we also have our Letters to Santa program that's coming back for the second year. Both of those programs can be found online at our website, elrec.recdesk.com, and more information on where to drop letters off, how to register for the house decorating contest, and all that type of fun stuff. I also just wanted to give a shout out to a lot of people that we worked with over this pandemic. We worked a lot with LCAT, Don, Jamie, and we also worked a lot with our town manager, Mary, and a whole bunch of other town departments, the police department, the fire department, the health department, the library. So I just wanted to give a shout out to all of those departments and everything and everyone that has been involved with our efforts. We hope to see you guys soon and back to normal.
So here we are at the Council on Aging office, located in this absolutely spectacular facility, the old Pleasant View Elementary School, refurbished in large part by our local DPW staff. The carpentries, the environment here is really great. Danelle Tavella, who's our acting COA director, will show you some of the other facets of the building, I'm sure, including the kitchen where all the meals are prepared for our Meals on Wheels program. But they do great service for the senior citizens. Unfortunately, this has been a big loss due to COVID, because this building, which is a vibrant activity center for the most part, has been closed like all other public buildings in town since March 16th. So we're feeling the pain of that. Hopefully there'll be some relief in the not too distant future. But with that said, Danelle can introduce you to the staff, and everybody plays a vital role, as in all departments. They do their best every day, and we're very happy to have them. As you know, our longtime COA director, Carolyn Brennan, left the town's employ in September. She was chosen as the new town administrator in Hadley, Massachusetts. So she's up there, and Danelle has been filling in quite well ever since the middle of September. So enjoy the rest of your time here. It's a beautiful place. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. That was a really great introduction. So why don't I start here by letting you all see and introduce you to the staff that run the Council on Aging. Typically, you would see Marilee over here. She is our office manager, but she does not work on this particular day, but she kind of oversees all of our office operations. This over here is Leah Weaver. She is also one of our office assistants, and she also does all of our media. So she's in charge of the Facebook page, and she keeps it updated and posted and adds some pretty fun, incredible things that our seniors love to see. And this is Alicia Smith. Alicia Smith is our program and volunteer coordinator. She's probably one of the busiest people in our department because she's constantly trying to create new and innovative programs to keep all of our seniors interacting and active in the community. So we're trying to think of different ways that will work with this pandemic, and she's doing an amazing job. Today we actually have our Veterans Celebration. So we have approximately 17 cars. We're all spacing them out evenly and according to policy. It's going to be a wonderful event, and we're so happy to honor all of our veterans here in town. This is Terry Glusko. He is our Tri-Town Trolley Coordinator. So he's in charge of all of our transportation. We have been running transportation here since probably close to the end of July. Things are very different. We're allowed to take one passenger at this particular time unless it's a caregiver or a family member. So we are striving to try to make any changes that we can to increase that. At this point in time, with the way things are, probably not going to be anytime soon. But we have, how many drivers do we have, Terry? We have 6 drivers. So we are ready to do more than we're doing now, but we're doing everything that we possibly can. Here I am with Tracy Walls. She is new to the Council on Aging, I'd say roughly about a year ago. And it couldn't have come at a better time. She is in charge of our mobile pantry, and she's also overseeing all the ordering and all of the distribution of food that we are putting out into the community. We are finding that during this pandemic, we've had many people come forward who were looking for food for the sheer fact that they didn't want to go out and be in the public, especially the seniors. But we are finding people who are having loss of jobs, other financial concerns that are coming to us more. So all of our food programming surrounding the pantry has increased, and it is very active, very, very active. So what we do here is we take appointments for people to come in and pick up food, to also have people delivered to, and Tracy is pretty much in charge of all of that packing and sorting, organizing, and making sure that we have nutritious food available for the seniors. So this is our emergency food pantry. As you can see, it's not the biggest, but we certainly do a lot out of it. Typically, during non-COVID, people would come in here and be able to pick what they prefer at least twice a month. So we do have to put a little bit of guidelines and cap on it. But now during COVID, we're packing bags, we're taking down what people are enjoying and needing. So you can see here that we do have the refrigerator pretty full right now. We just have a delivery that will be coming in, I guess, on Friday. And we've been getting so much support from the community, and I want to thank you all so much for coming through for us. Whenever we ask, you guys all are there to make sure that we get what we need to ensure those people who are food insufficient, that we're making and meeting their needs. We had a food drive last month, and every week was themed, and everybody town-wide came out, and we got great success from that food drive. So as you can see, it's not the biggest, but we do a lot of business out of here, a lot of work out of here, and we're getting it done, which is great. And all the staff are contributing and participating in this program. This is Sharon Giordano. She is our accountant administrative assistant, so she keeps us in line. She does all the payroll, all the bills, so she is still very, very busy, and she's also having to keep up on COVID expenses. So that's also an additional part to her job that's been, keeping her super busy, and we appreciate that very much. All right, so as you can see, this is just one of the programs that we are able to do still now because the weather is so nice. This is our Tai Chi class, and we have many people out here enjoying the socialization that they can as long as they are 6 feet away from each other and wearing their masks. As you can see, they are all loving it. Keeping our fingers crossed moving forward, we'll be able to do more events like this. We also have in the plans to do a drive-in movie. So we're working on those things. We're trying to get them done one thing at a time. It's a little slower process than what we're used to, but we're going to make it happen and do as much as we can, as long as we can outdoors. So this is our kitchen. This is where we produce our Meals on Wheels that go out into the community. We are now running 4 routes, 4 Meals on Wheels. We're roughly serving, at this point, about 60 people per day. We're running it Monday, Wednesday, Friday. In addition to the meal that they're getting, they're also getting a frozen meal that they can prepare on that Tuesday, Thursday when we're not running those programs. We also, in addition to the Meals on Wheels, we are doing curbside pickup. So curbside pickup is the same meal that you would get for Meals on Wheels, but these are for the people that are out and about, that want to come out and they want to see us. They want to know what's coming up next, and they want to keep in touch. So they come out, they grab their meal curbside, and they're on their way. This is Steve Plifka. He is our chef. So he organizes all the food delivering, all the ordering. He's also in charge of our menu, and he oversees the staff here in the kitchen. So he's been active and working since day 1 of COVID, and he has not missed a beat. So we are very grateful to have him, and we look forward to doing the 5 days a week at some point down the road when it's safe and capable and able to do it. In a nutshell, we are functioning almost at, I would say, 100% capacity, less the people in the building. We are doing our best to keep our seniors informed. We have a new actual program that we are going to be kicking off next month, and it is going to be a once-a-month series that we are doing here with LCAT and other departments. Hopefully we'll be able to participate. And it's just going to be a program where we can keep you all informed of the most important things that are happening in East Longmeadow, and also some fun, interesting facts, birthday shout-outs, history in East Longmeadow, things that you may not have known existed here that for decades and years we will get a historian to kind of tell us about East Longmeadow, and also to include tidbits in regards to legal questions, tax questions, and also to let you know what we're doing here at the Senior Center and what we can bring to you. We also want to get out into the community and share with you what we know, and we also want you to share with us what you know. So it should be a really fun program, a really fun show. We're putting something in the newsletter. We want your ideas. We want anything that you think would be suitable and interesting and fun and creative to put into that program. So give us your input. We would love it. Like I said, today we're doing our veterans event. We have yoga that we are doing over at Brownstone. All of this, of course, is done with caution and care as far as keeping everybody safe and following the guidelines and protocols of the governor and our health department. We have a puzzle and book home delivery program that we're doing. We have a friendly caller program that we're doing, pen pal program. We have Tai Chi. We have line dancing taking place during the week. We just completed a drug take-back program at all the East Longmeadow housings, communities, and as well as Brownstone. So there's a lot of things that we are doing, and we're trying our best to stay immersed into the community and letting them know that we are here. So we are here and we are open, and we want you all to let us know if there's something that you need or something that we can do for you to make this time easier and less of a struggle. So with that, I want to thank you all for being here, and I hope you enjoyed seeing the Senior Center.
We're here this morning at the fire department. Our host and chief of the fire service here in town is Paul Morissette. Paul also serves as our emergency manager director, and God knows that through this year he's had more than his hands full with both positions. The town's fire service has expanded its ambulance service to the benefit of the community and to our for the public safety aspect of and the health and safety of the community. So we owe a great debt of gratitude to Paul for his thoughtfulness and foresight in thinking that through and trying to advance the town's goals in that regard. So he's kindly offered to take us through on a little tour of the fire department this morning, and he'll introduce some of his staff who are present and point out the different things that the town might be interested in taking a walk through here. So thank you, Paul. And I'm remiss, I should thank him very much for all of his service and assistance to me as the new town manager. He's been an enormous resource of information, always helpful, always courteous, extremely professional individual of the highest integrity, and the town's very, very fortunate to have Paul in its employ.
Thank you, Mary, for that wonderful introduction. It's been a challenging year. Come on into the fire station. We've made a lot of changes over the past several years. The most changes have drastically taken place in the past several months. We've changed kind of our layout and how people operate around the fire station a little bit. We do a lot more cleaning, a lot more disinfecting than we ever did, just to try and keep our firefighters and our paramedics and EMTs safe during the COVID pandemic. Our station is laid out to where half of the building is our apparatus. This half here is our control center. We have a radio console in here that acts typically as a backup, or if we're in the building and we need to communicate with our apparatus. I have firefighter EMT, soon to be paramedic Gianna Driscoll over in the corner there. Gianna's a brand new hire. She's been a member of the department for several years, but came on full time back in August, and she's just about done with her paramedic training. Another couple months and she'll be a paramedic riding on the ambulance, one more level of training than she has now. Out here is where we keep our apparatus. This is our frontline ambulance. Our second new ambulance is actually due to arrive next week. This ambulance has been extremely busy the past several months. We've seen an uptick in cases in town, COVID cases, and we've actually transported quite a few of them in the past several weeks. Keeping in line with the rest though, we're still a fire department. We have our fire apparatus that's checked daily, ready to roll. This is our ladder truck that the town allowed us to purchase a couple years back. The truck's been a great addition to the fleet, replacing our 1988 ladder truck. The guys like operating it. It's got all the latest safety features for them to make sure we can do that job safely. Along with our other fire apparatus we have over here, we have our, this is primarily our rescue truck. If there's a car accident or an extrication that needs to happen, that's the apparatus we take. Over here, this is our primary structure truck. If there's a house fire or a fire alarm, this will be our truck. That truck back there is a 1994, still in service. We used it at the Agawam fire a couple weeks ago, and it pumped for almost 38 hours straight. So it did really well. The ambulance you see back in the corner back here, that's currently our second ambulance. We were able to get that free from Palmer Ambulance. We put some money into it and some supplies in it, and to date it has close to 400 transports helping us and the residents of the town of East Longmeadow. I'll take you into the back side of the station. Not having to worry about too much PPE in the past, we have come up with alternative storage locations for PPE that we've gotten. So this is all PPE that we were able to get through grants or through MEMA's collection. In an effort to keep everybody socially distant, we have kind of limited eating in the kitchen just because there's not enough room in there. They prepare their food in there, and we kind of set the training room up so everybody is at least 6 feet apart, and they wear their masks unless they're eating. Josh is one of our new paramedics. He's been with the department for a couple of years now, but just finishing up his paramedic training. This is my office here, which is where I take care of all my stuff. Nothing really fancy in here. It's just, it's where I've been living the past few months. The last office we have over here is the admin and our inspector and our captain's office. I have firefighter EMT Brian DePonde, who's our inspector. He works on Monday through Thursday shift. Anybody that's selling their house right now or in the past has dealt with Brian. Brian does all the smoke detector inspections for your resales. Carrie over in the corner over there, behind the glass. Carrie takes care of all the internal billing. Most of that's done through an agency, but Carrie does all the audits, and she helps me with the budget, does all our bills, all our accounts payable, also all our payroll. Thanks for taking a quick walk around the fire station.
I'd like to introduce Daryl Keene, the operations manager for the Department of Public Works. His department supervision encompasses quite a few of the major operations in the community, and I'll let Daryl explain what they are. But he's got a tremendous amount of responsibility, a very large workforce to supervise, and he does a terrific job for the Department of Public Works, keeping everything percolating along under very adverse conditions at times. So, yes. Daryl, floor is yours.
How you doing? Daryl Keene, Operations Manager, the Department of Public Works in East Longmeadow. In our department, we handle all of our parks and rec areas between grass mowing, trimming, fertilizing, and prepping all of our athletic fields throughout the town. As well as that goes, we maintain all of our roads, infrastructure underneath our roads, stormwater, sewer, water, and obviously the snow plowing and salting and sanding as the year goes on. We have a workforce of roughly 30 gentlemen between building and maintenance and our Department of Public Works. We have a great group of guys and very hardworking, and it's always a pleasure to try to serve the town as best as we can. This is Tom, our water and sewer foreman. He maintains our water department. As you can hear, this is our shop, garage where we maintain all of our vehicles on the DPW side of things. That's their office where we stock all our filters and everything in there. Obviously, we got oil out here for services. And as you can see, we have Steve here is actually working on one of our sanders, repairing some rust and rot that's never ending on sanders, as you can see by the pile of rust that's on the floor. And then we got Tony's actually under this truck replacing some emission parts, which has been a never-ending battle for us. And we're in the process of doing services on cars with we put everything on the lift to do our services. As you can see, one of our Bobcats. We have a newer Bobcat, and then this is our older one. This one does all our sidewalks and plowing during the winter. And we have our plow in here for the loader, which is being repaired. Cutting edges for our snow plows and so on. Just equipment's parked in here. This truck's actually down right now. We're doing some engine work to it. Unfortunately, with the times that we have right now, we do have a gentleman out right now waiting for a COVID test. So he's one of our mechanics. This is our jet truck. It's a major piece of equipment for us for emergency equipment to do our sewer blocks and maintain our sewer mains. We're in the midst of things right now, kind of transitioning into winter and still trying to finish up some of our summer work. So this room is kind of a bit of a mess, but we keep our roller for our paving in here so it doesn't freeze outside with the water. And there's our light tower we just got last year due to a grant Bruce had gotten for us, which has been great for our water breaks at night. It makes a big difference. It makes it like working in daylights for us. It's been an old building. It's cold, but it serves its purpose in the winter. We park our sanders in here in the winter before a storm and try to keep those somewhat warm so we can get right out when we're going. This here is our John Deere backhoe, Volvo backhoe, and our John Deere loader. The John Deere loader, that's the plow that's inside that they're repairing. And as you can see, this plow here for the backhoe is one of the plows they painted for the Paint the Plow project with the rec department. That building over there is the sign shop, parks department per se. They maintain our lawnmowers, and they actually have a small area that we do some of our street signs and stuff like that. This building here is just extra parking. We try to get, whatever we can inside during the winter in storage. We got 3 old tractor trailer truck cans there. It's all storage. We keep all our sawhorses and road blockades in there, and some of the heavier tools and equipment that we might need for the shop. We have a sea can there that we store that stuff, and when we come out, we need it, we'll just take it out with a forklift or something and just bring it inside so we can use the tools. And as you can see, we still have all our plows ready to go. 2 more sanders to be put on trucks for our final prep for the winter. Our salt shed's already full, ready to go for our first snowfall in a hole. This is our humble area here. The yard's usually pretty quiet other than the guys in the shop throughout the day. We have 1 crew out maintaining the roads. That's our highway department with our highway supervisor, Brett Holly. And then we have another crew out doing catch basin repairs, which we've made a drastic climbs on this year and got the list down quite a bit. We're down to single number of work orders for that. And that's Sergio Freitas' crew, and those guys have been doing a great job. Our parks department is out on the road. They've been, I think if anyone was around town today, they saw them at the town hall and doing the islands. And they've been in and out of the Heritage Park multiple times trying to keep up with the leaves there and trying to hit the school areas. They just finished up aerating our athletic fields and doing our step 4 fertilizer. And our water guys are doing the same. They're marking out dig safes and doing road work as they can.
So today we're at the LCAT studios in the high school building facility with our special guest, Don Mackey, who, as you know from any viewing of any town program, you're very familiar with Don, although he's usually behind the camera, not in front of it. But I think he's a man of inestimable energy and time. His days, I think, are longer than 24 hours because every time I turn around to try to view anything, see anything, attend a meeting, Don's there, front and center, making all of the town information as transparent as possible to all who wish to view our various and sundry meetings and so forth. So having said that, I really admire, as I said, his energy, and we're going to take you through his department now so you can see some of the internal workings of the department, and Don can introduce his staff and show you the inner workings of East Longmeadow Cable Access TV.
Well, thanks, Mary. So welcome. This is the LCAT studio. This was built in 2012. It had been a storage area at the high school, and our program was growing at the time, so we carved out this space. This is a work area for students and staff. Currently, Kelly Glover, who's out on furlough, our studio assistant, and assistant director Jamie Rook, who's working a combination of remotely and here in the studio on projects such as this video. With COVID, we do not have high school kids in the building, so the studio is set up a little bit differently than it might be during the regular school year. I have an area set up where I'm teaching my virtual high school class, and then a setup for hosting all the Zoom meetings. So Jamie and I are hosting 13 or 14 of the town's boards for the virtual meetings, the Zoom meetings. Jamie just finished doing the fall season of sports, which was really exciting that we were able to have that, and we had some great young announcers that have come through our program. Still covering occasional events. We just did an event today up at the COA for a large donation from Munson Savings Bank that was made for the Veterans Memorial. Just trying to keep people informed and keep people connected and provide as much content and video of events, of things that are going on around town, updates with the health department, with the school department. So that's what we do here. we get out of the pandemic, people are welcome to come and take a tour, see the studio, see what we do, get involved if you like, volunteer, make television programs, but that's LCAT, so thanks for stopping by.
So here we are in the IT department with the illustrious Ryan Quimby, our town's IT director. Ryan, I can't say enough good things about him for what he does for each and every employee in the town of East Longmeadow, as well as our student population, parents. His staff is marvelous. They constantly respond with a smile, and they know what they're doing. They can fix almost anything, which coming from me is really high praise because I'm lucky I can turn the computer on. But anyway, Ryan's been with the town for, is it 20 years now?
Yep, almost 21, yep.
Yeah, and he's been a department head for 10 of those years or so?
Yeah, 15.
15, okay, time flies.
It does.
And he's got a great staff, and I'll let him introduce the people that are here and explain a little bit about the department. So, take it away.
So we'll start over here with our technicians. We've got Justin Stacy's working with a teacher right now. Carl's using one of his vacation days. They're really our first line of support where end users call in and they were sort of the first ones to respond. And then we have Elias, who is our help desk administrator. He's our tier 2 support and kind of takes the overflow from the tier 1 guys. And then we have Mary Race, who is our applications analyst, who is Elias's counterpart, where they overlap with each other, and she handles a lot of the software. Like Munis is probably our #1 thing, our website, that type of thing. So we have Craig, our network administrator. He's the one that keeps all the phones working and the access points going and the network moving and the internet going, and in some places the light's actually working. Then Mike is our GIS administrator. He handles at the minimalist, the town's GIS system with the public works assets, the assessment stuff. We also offload a lot of database type stuff to him. So when we added the storm water access fee, Mike saved us about $12,000 by doing some database work instead of having to pay Munis to do it. So since COVID had started, before that we'd provide support in-house to students and to faculty. Since COVID and the remote teaching, we've now taken on the responsibility of not only our one-to-one program we started last year, but we pushed that down all the way to the kindergarten level. So kindergarten to 12th grade, every student has a device. And instead of providing just a network in the buildings, a wireless network in the buildings, we now get to help diagnose all their home Wi-Fi networks and everything that goes along with that. So it's become much more complicated trying to handle all the service remotely. That's the IT department.
So here we are at the superintendent's office of the East Longmeadow School System, the office of Gordon Smith and his illustrious staff that work diligently to promote the education and well-being of all of our student population. Gordon's been a great asset to me in my role as town manager. He's always available, he's always contributing to whatever the issue is with the school perspective, and his professionalism and expertise is very much appreciated at all times. So thank you, Gordon.
Thank you, Mary. Here we are in the East Longmeadow Public Schools central office. We're actually in the hallway of the central office. Going through here to my right would be the superintendent's office and director of curriculum, as well as our assistant superintendent for business. Here we have our payroll and accounts payable. And as we go through, we move into our student support services. And you have a lot of different services that are coming out of this area. This is sort of where the support for almost everything we do in ELPS begins, because we have transportation, we have health services, we have our MECO program coordinated throughout here, and we have special education coming through the work that everyone in this area does. And people may or may not know that our entrance to central office is actually at the back of the high school. You come through the back gates, and that's the entrance to central office. So we're actually connected to the high school, but have our own entrance here in the rear of the high school. One of the nice things here as you come into the hallway of central office is we've captured all our educators who have been inducted into the East Longmeadow Public School Educator Hall of Fame. And so as you can see, the number of incredible people who have been honored with this entrance into the East Longmeadow Public School Hall of Fame, and certainly have built the tradition of excellence here in the East Longmeadow Public Schools. And as we go through into the superintendent's office, this is where we do our student registration if a new family's coming in. We also have curriculum going on there with Mrs. Brown, who's waving. And as you get closer to the superintendent's office and the assistant superintendent for business office, you have Mrs. Saletti, and the reality is Mrs. Saletti directs all of us and keeps us on task, making sure that ELPS runs smoothly. So now we're actually in the school committee conference room where prior to COVID-19 operations, this is where the school committee met every other week, held their open meetings. As you can see, if there are any type of meetings, you can see how spread out we are, and this is really for staff who's in the building, and if we have to meet together, we obviously want to follow all safety and health protocols to make sure people are safe. But it's a different time. You know, we've been operating basically since March 13th in very unique circumstances, and I can't say enough about all who have made the East Longmeadow Public Schools really successfully transition into predominantly a remote instructional model. And you know, that's all the employees, but it's also all of our families, because it's a partnership, and as the saying goes, it takes a village. So we're so incredibly grateful for everyone's help, assistance, and expertise to make all of this work. So thank you.
So here we are in the treasurer's office. As you can see, we've installed the plexiglass for the day when we can reopen to the public, and to try to safeguard the health and safety of our employees as well as the town residents. The treasurer obviously is Dawn Fonte, her assistant is Peter Benjamin, and she has a staff, very capable staff, Melissa and Deb Milliken, and part-time our other Melissa, MG. They do a great job servicing the public. They have very busy times of year, obviously. Dawn was terrific when COVID first started, keeping track of the town's revenue when we were very concerned about receipts when the virus hit us first off in the spring. Dawn did an excellent job on a weekly basis of advising me with respect to the existing budget and the upcoming fiscal year budget on where we stood in terms of the town revenue. So I really appreciate her contributions to the cause as well as those of her staff. So thank you. Dawn, all yours.
Thank you, Mary. Welcome to the Collector Treasurer's Office. I am Dawn Fonte, the Collector Treasurer for the Town of East Longmeadow. This department collects all the town taxes and bills and receives all the funds from other departments that have collected monies. We work with attorneys and financial institutions on a daily basis with refinancing of properties and the purchase or sale of properties. This department helps residents with all kinds of inquiries regarding their payments of their taxes and their utility bills. Also, this department manages the town's financial and investment accounts. We are a team of 4 full-time employees and 1 part-time employee. During this pandemic, this department is split up into 2 teams, which has coverage in the office at all times with at least 2 to 3 team members per day. The days that we are not in the office, we are remotely working from home. Also, during this time, we are often asked how to make payments due to residents not being allowed to the town hall. A couple of options are you may pay online at www.eastlongmeadowma.gov. You can mail your payments. We have 2 mailing addresses. We have the Lockbox address, which is in Woburn, Mass., or you can mail your payment directly here to the town hall. There is also 2 drop boxes located at the main entrance of the town hall. There's a red box and a black box on the brick wall, and you can use either box for your payments. Also, we will take phone payments as well. Keep in mind, all payments over the phone, just like online, carry convenience fees associated with them. If you ever have any questions or concerns, by all means, please give us a call, 413-525-5400, extension 1050. Thank you so much for your time and stay safe.
Okay, thank you, Jamie. Now we're in my personal office for the wrap-up to this presentation, and it has taken us approximately 2 weeks to go through all the town departments at various times and at convenience of LCAT as well as my schedule. But I want the town residents to know that, you know, we have 17 departments, and you've had an opportunity now to take a virtual tour of each of them and meet the directors. I think it was important to do this video at this point because of COVID and the fact that the town hall has now been closed for 8 months today, as a matter of fact. Today's November 16th, and we closed the town hall to the public on March 16th. Despite the fact that we haven't had public access, though, business does continue as usual, under stress, and I don't want to be melodramatic or overemphasize that, but I do want the public to understand and appreciate how trying the circumstances are in this business, this municipal business, as well as it is for your own lives and whatever business endeavors or home life you have to cope with. So the stress of COVID affects all of us. I think that the department heads and the staff who work for the town of East Longmeadow have really done exemplary work over the last 8 months. They've responded to every public inquiry. Business is being managed, and I really do owe them a debt of gratitude, and I want to praise all of them again for their contributions and their cooperation. We try to be very mindful of the problems in the community, the difficulties that COVID has caused in our economy, the shutdown of businesses. We're working very hard to promote information that becomes available on grant opportunities for businesses as well as for the municipality, so that we can continue to operate and try to move forward on some very important initiatives within the confines of some of the difficulties of municipal finance these days. So I thank you for the opportunity to sort of lead this walkthrough, if you will. I thank Jamie Rook very much for her patience and all of her splicing and editing, as well as Don Mackey as the department head of LCAT. It was his idea to do this, and we hope you enjoy it, and we hope you learn something about the staff that works for you as a result of watching it. And we're very happy to be here serving you, and we do our best every day. So just want you to know that, and we're all looking forward to the day when town can reopen to the public and we can go back to some sense of normalcy that we're all yearning to get back. So thank you very much for your time watching this, and take care and stay safe.